Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. Today I want to talk about something that I find quite alarming, and the fact that it keeps happening despite changes that were implemented here at the start of Mists of Pandaria or late Cataclysm, and it still keeps happening. It kind of tells me that we might have a player epidemic doing this, and just a terrible mindset of me, maximum greed. And of course, I'm talking about sort of the ninja looting, the non-stop, just pressing need no matter what. Like, people are just straight up needing to sell it, vendor it, disenchant it, and they're actually robbing it from players that might find them to be an upgrade. And I honestly, I don't really know how to fix that. If everybody does it, you either start banning people for it if it's reportable and it keeps happening, but then again, how do you prove that they don't actually need it or something? It's quite challenging. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this subject because I think it's very important to shine a light on it, and there's no better place than the forums where people have had an extensive thread. I'm going to go with the most popular thread that has popped up recently and talk about that, so I will see you then. So we are here with our friend Abracadaver, and they say, I realize we're not playing the mop of old, so I don't see why Blizzard can't do something about players needing on things they can't use in random queue. I'm so tired of players from Benediction, Rodin, you can't hide from everyone, needing on things they can't even use, i.e. tier tokens their class can't even turn in, or anyone other than a hunter needing on shot-touched agility gun. I get you can't stop players from being toxic, but I don't see why players can at least use/equip, have a higher chance to get a better roll, even making rolling on non-class items have a penalty on a need roll. Am I being ridiculous for being butthurt about this, or just need to accept that this is the way things are and do expect anything better? I guess do not expect anything better is what they were trying to say there. And so we get some more opinions, but for that, I mean, it does suck. So the biggest change that they added between Cataclysm, like when I was doing my level every class to 85 challenge that we hit before that, at some point between the end of Cata and before MOP, I think it might have even been MOP pre-patch, they changed it to where if you have prio, you get a roll. It used to just be free roll. If you press need, all the needs roll against it. It's been like that since Classic 2019 here on the Classic project. And where it differs is then it's sort of prioritized. So say like an agility BOE ring drops, right? A 476 ring. If you are an agility using class, you get priority on that, which, you know, most people need on epic BOEs to sell in the auction house, etc., etc. I'm not gonna debate that one. I'm just saying how it works. Like, my monk won one in a group because I was the only agi user. I just instinctively pressed need on it, and people started complaining and getting all mad. I'm like, my bad. I actually did a slash roll off, and I still won with that. But, you know, stuff like that just gets created, and I had no idea, right? I wasn't trying to ninja it. I was just doing the norm that I've seen established since 2019, and people started freaking out. So like they kind of did that prio system. However, that prio system is now backfiring, and a lot of people are yoinking stuff just because they can. Like, if it's a greed roll, they'll just need it so they can vendor it for 30, 40, 50 gold, or even disenchant it, sell it for 100 gold, whatever they're doing. But it is really scummy behavior that keeps happening over and over again. It's really unfair to people. I think a better thing to put in would be the click to disenchant thing. If there's an enchanter in the group, everybody just clicks disenchant roll, which I think was in a Cataclysm, if memory serves me right. But you just click that disenchant, and people can disenchant that item and get the loot from that. I'm not entirely sure when that came in, but I definitely thought it was in by Mists of Pandaria. But let's read some other people's comments here. It says, it's certainly ridiculous, but not much can be done about it. I've had numerous cases, probably 10 times now, where people needed on tier they didn't need, or other items they could vendor/disenchant them. Personal loot would be a great addition to resolve this in random dungeon system. I absolutely agree. Even if we don't put it everywhere, just put it in celestial dungeons, right? The raid loot, obviously, raid loot is a big one. But you can, I believe the system is able to be implemented pretty easily, and so you could just simply make it an option, right? You could set your raids to personal loot if you wanted to, but, you know, more player choice, more options. I think personal loot forced on Celestial Dungeons would be great, as well as if you're able to trade with people, now that everyone's on one server. I think personal loot would be the best solution to this problem, because it's kind of crazy. Certainly can do something to help. Nobody should be able to need an item that is not their class/armor type. Put a DE button in the game that functions as an alternate greed button. Exactly, the DE button, as well as people not being able to need on that. Then we have another opinion here. It's off-putting. Just tonight, I did 2 dungeons before shut down, and in each dungeon, a person from Radon needed all the loot. A paladin in the group was in blues, needed the Conqueror tier token, but so did the druid tank from Radin who won it. Then the paladin needed on the agility dagger and vanquisher token in another run. These greedy people ruined the game for the rest of us. I missed the days where you could do a dungeon, a rare epic BOE drops, and it was an upgrade for some of the group would let them take it if they equipped, and if they didn't, they lost their reputation on the server. This merger is a mess. I don't like being on the mega realm with raw 10 players. Not only are they terrible in the dungeons, if they act like they don't have a greed button on loot rolls, the game is meant to be fun. These people ruin it. I honestly figured from what I saw, I honestly figured Faralina would be the big problem because we were the biggest server before this, but it's nice to see that Benediction players are worse. But yeah, GDKPs were infinitely more popular over on Benediction. Faralina had quite a good balance of all types of raids, but it is pretty funny that, you know, shocker, the Alliance mega server has a bunch of greedy people. If you notice, Blizz already has a system in place to prevent this. If you can't use the item strength class need, you won't win it unless no end users roll need. If someone can actually use it, they will get it. So this is the system that was implemented, but it doesn't, I guess it just doesn't work on tier maybe? I don't know. But also, like, yes, it works for that, but it doesn't stop people ninjing. Like, people are just using the need button as a greed button, and that sucks because it defeats the system if you have that Agi-Pria. With the example I shared with the ring that dropped in the first one, it's kind of happening quite frequently, and it does really suck. Anyone complaining about the current lead system isn't main spec rolling, or they're rolling as someone whose main spec is the same as theirs. But yeah, so like, if someone's main spec rolling, like, I could go in needing absolutely nothing from Celestial Gears, and I would win every piece of leather agility gear just by rolling need, and then I could vendor it and make money. It really is a shitty way to go about it, and you could deprive people of loot. Like, I could get a rogue in there and just still not care, because the prio still applies, even if I have a higher eye level piece of gear there. The issue is that people are needing every single item. The people who choose greed get screwed over by trying to be honest. A cloth wearer that just needs every plate item, and as long as no main spec plate wearers need it, they will win it, and over anyone greeds, it happens constantly. So that's the exact problem Dazzle Bob is highlighting. And then, yeah, once again, 9 times out of 10, there's someone needing everything. But yeah, these are the issues, and then I have lots of screenshots from people in random dungeon finder with 500 plus eye level, and they keep pressing need on anything they can equip. For example, a rogue with a heroic chest here, need on a celestial token, and so on. People need for either vendor spec or disenchant. The only solution to this crap is force parcel loot and random dungeon finder, because even when the system is need before greed, it won't prevent someone from needing all his class items, even celestial, if he doesn't actually need them because he has a higher level. But of course, these greedy selfish players will never want personal loot to come to Mop Classic because it will kill the way they abuse loot in dungeons and raids. So that's the predicament that we are in, and why people are, would be against it, and what we sort of would see. I honestly just think the time has come to put personal loot in dungeons. I know that can be a little obnoxious, but as long as the same number of loot drops and you can trade and things like that, it's still fine. I don't know the math about it, but it's worked in retail for a very long time, and I think it would continue to work here. And if we're going to keep having players be greedy, selfish, and abuse stuff, something has to change. But anyway, like I said, I just really wanted to bring attention to this and highlight it because I think it is a problem, and it is only getting worse. And, the days of people, oh, hey, need it if you equip it. Like, that's how I operated for everything, but people are needing it and selling it and being greedy. But it is what it is. So anyway, I truly hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, I'll see you later. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey you. Yes you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.